Bass Shaper by WA Production is all about that bass. This plugin gives you a set of tools to sculpt, fix and dial in your low end. And because of the intro price of just $12, this is one plugin to check out. Because this plugin is all about bass, please use headphones or speakers with good low-end extension, otherwise it will look like I will be turning dials with no change in sound whatsoever. The tools in Bass Shaper are tuned to work with low-end. The trio of D-Mod, D-Boom and Level clean and level out resonances and peaks. The big subtone dial in the middle is a sub-octave generator, but I wouldn't see this as a direct alternative to the many low-end enhancers available. You get three choices where this sub-octave will add its frequencies. It works by widening the low end it generates. Punch and fade can be compared to an envelope shaper as to where they work. Punch works on the transient of bass and can enhance or compress. Fade works on the sustain. You can increase or decrease the tail. Now, before we continue, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little like button to stay up to date on the latest new plugins. This video is sponsored by DistroKid. Cover songs is probably one of the many types of songs you would love to do, but uploading to a streaming platforms is always a hassle due to copyrights and required fee because you cover an original song. DistroKid makes this very easy for you by offering the option to do this all for you for $12 per song per year when you have a DistroKid subscription. Use my link in the description to get 7% off of your first year on a DistroKid. Bass Shaper has even more tools. Here you find Saturation EQ. To me it sounds like you add EQ into a global saturation circuit. Speaking about saturation, this is absolutely happening in the plugin. Not only with the Saturation EQ section. It's also with controls where you don't necessarily expect it. Saturation can lead to aliasing if you're not careful. Good to see there's a 4x oversampling option available. Switching on this oversampling will increase the latency of the plugin. Oversampling will add another 16. That's measured at 48 kHz. This latency also means that this plugin is not really suited for real-time monitoring or tracking. The CPU usage on my system is around 3%. If we continue with the saturation, heat increases overall saturation. You will notice this works together with the saturation EQ. The press dial does Fairchild-like compression. Depth is described as a tool that applies analog hardware convolution, making your bass larger and adding deep interest whilst taming excessive highs. In practice, it reminds me a lot of the stereo widening trick used on the JMG Sound's Darkfire, where you use EQ split between bands to widen a sound, in combination with an echo. It certainly adds depth. Now, a lot of the tools in this plugin also change the level. Pay attention on the red line here in the Ocelot limiter when I boost some of the controls. It is easy to dial in more and more with Bass Shaper, which will mess with the overall loudness. That's why it's handy that there is an auto gain compensation switch in the plugin which does a proper job of adjusting for the change in level. One thing with Bass Shaper I needed to get used to is that the plugin always puts the loudest bass frequencies right on top of its frequency graph. This is regardless of level with or without automatic gain compensation. So the frequency display in this plugin shows how the frequency dispersion is and the underlying proportions between frequencies rather than the actual level in decibels. This does make it easier to see how the overall frequency balance shifts. WA Production Bass Shaper does exactly what it claims to do: to rescue the low end and cement its place in a track with an unbeatable intro price. I would check it out for yourself to find out if it fits in your audio toolshed.